Hello everyone and welcome back to another deck idea brought to you by Double Sleeved. Today we're covering the last yellow deck coming out in Power Absorbed. It is the Majin deck. As you can see in front of you, we've got all of the cards, so no need to wait for them to get revealed. If you just want to see the deck list, it's there in front of you. But if you want to go into a bit more in-depth kind of discussion about the cards and their specific effects, then we're going to go through that in today's video. Starting off with the leader, Majin, we've got a standard auto. When this card attacks, draw one, and then an activate main once per turn. Look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 yellow Majin card with an energy cost of 6 or less among them to your hand. Shuffle your deck. If you added a card, you discard 1 card from your hand. So we're not going to be plussing any cards, but we do have some various drop area effect cards, so it's not the worst thing to put them into the drop, but it's always better to have them in hand. Awaken when your life is at 4 or less, or you have a yellow Majin Z battle card with an energy cost of 2 or more in play. We draw 1, untap 1, and take our life down to 6. On our Awaken side, auto, discard 1 yellow card from your hand, and when this card attacks, draw 2. And then an auto once per turn. If it's your opponent's turn, when you play a yellow Majin card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons and switch to rest mode. So we do have a bit of a chain deck. They generally revolve these Majin decks around some kind of chain, similar to how we had the, I think it's set 8 or set 9 black Majin deck, where you continuously went up the chain depending on the fusion pieces and things like that. And we've got a similar deck here. We're going to be playing on our opponent's turn. We're going to be resting cards, and we're going to start this deck profile off with the top end. So some of the stronger Majin cards. We've got Majin Vile Onslaught. It's an 8-drop. 5 specified. We've got Deflect, Double Strike, Auto. If your leader is a yellow Majin card, when this card is played by another card's skill, against barrier and dual attack for the turn, choose up to 2 of your opponent's cards, switch them to rest mode, and they can't be switched to active mode during your opponent's next charge phase. So an incredibly strong effect, and this is definitely the end game for this deck. We want to be getting this card out using another card's skill, so that we can get the full effect. Resting 2 cards and preventing them from untap is extremely strong. We can rest energy, or if we don't want 2 things to attack, we can just lock them down. Auto limit 1, when you use one of your yellow Majin or yellow Evil Wizard Barbary cards to discard this card from your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch to rest mode. So we've got another effect as well. We've got a couple of different cards to discard in this deck, but we can do it off the leader effect as well. If our opponent has a blocker or things like that, we'd have a way to rest them. And activate main, limit 1 for 1 yellow. If your leader is yellow, you have 4 or more energy, play this card from your hand. We're not going to get the whole effect since it's not played by another card, but 1 energy for a 30k Deflect Double Strike is always good. Next we have Majin Power Manifest, another 8-drop, 5 specified. This is a 25k triple striker. Auto limit 1 for 1 yellow. If your leader is a Majin or Evil Wizard Barbary card, both yellow, it's your opponent's turn, and you choose one of your yellow Majin cards with an energy cost of 6 in rest mode. At the end of the battle where this card was used in a combo, play this card from your drop in active mode on top of the chosen card. So now we see a couple of different ways to kind of go up that chain on the previous Majin that's some of the lower cost ones. So we're going to be doing it on our opponent's turn. We're going to be comboing with this card, paying 1, and then bringing this out onto the field on top of the previous card. When we do that, our leader will then rest a battle card or unison, and our deck is just revolved around keeping this chain alive and continuously going up the chain on our opponent's turn. Since we're going to be resting a lot of cards with this deck, it makes sense to run Poutine the Dark Sorcerer. It's barrier, unique. If your leader is yellow, when a card is switched to rest mode by one of our card's skills, we play it from hand. And when our opponent plays a battle card using a skill or activates a counter, we can rest another battle card. So again, just a lot of good synergy of resting cards on our turn and our opponent's turn, and this card is extremely sticky and hard to remove. Because we're going to be getting some of those cards into the drop area and things like that, we're going to be comboing a lot and getting a fair amount of energy. We are running the Pan and Son Gohan package. So we'll start off with Pan. Pan Inherited Bloodline. It's a 3-drop Deflect, unique, dual attack. Permanent, when this card would leave your battle area, remove it from the game instead. Auto for 1 yellow. If your leader is yellow, your opponent has 2 or more energy. When you place this card from your Z energy in your drop to pay the Z energy cost of a mono yellow Z battle card, 2 or more, we get to play this card from the drop. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and KO it. So we have some good removal on our turn as well. And auto, when this card attacks, use up to 1 mono yellow card with 5000 combo power from your drop in a combo with its skills negated for the battle. It's not once per turn, so a great way to refuel that Z energy after this card is brought out, and we've brought out the Z battle card. Then we have Sun Gohan, Flash of Brilliance, an 8-drop 30k deflect dual attack. We have an EX Evolve, limit 1, so 1 yellow and 2 unspecified over a yellow Sun Gohan superhero. If this card would be removed from the battle area, we remove it from the game also. And a permanent, you can activate this card's EX Evolve skill from your drop. So a great card to get into the drop area, and then we can EX Evolve whenever we like. And if you have 4 or more energy and a yellow pan superhero card in play, when this card is played, it gains double strike and barrier for the turn. And if you have a yellow unison in play, when it attacks, we rest a battle card, negate its skills and KO it, but we're not running any unisons. But what this does is it does give us a bit of a kind of fail-safe way to have a game ender, since this card can sit in the drop area comfortably. We can sit pan comfortably in our Z energy till we need it, and then having the Sun Gohan in our Z deck for when we require it. Later in the game, if our hand's been dwindled down, our chain's been removed, then we've got some other areas that we can use to bring out a pretty good game ender. So I'll quickly go over the Sun Gohan since they are all relevant to one another. It's a 2-drop 1k Sun Gohan facing new foes. It's a 15k deflect dual attack. Permanent, reduce the EX Evolve skill cost of yellow Sun Gohan cards in your hand or drop by 2, meaning that we can play this card out for 1 yellow energy. And then if your leader is yellow, Piccolo superhero, which we're not, so this is irrelevant. But later on in the game, if we've got that 4 energy that we need a way to close out the game, we've got no cards, we can pay 2, 1 Z energy being the pan, pay 1 for the pan to bring this out. We've got a dual attacking Gohan, we've got a dual attacking pan. We attack once with the Gohan, since we are going to EX Evolve over it into this one. And then if we have the pan, then we've got, 1 attack from the Z battle card, 2 attacks from the pan, and then 2 attacks with a double striking Gohan. So it's just another way to kind of use the other areas rather than relying solely on our hand. Super Saiyan Vegito, Overwhelming Might. This one is an 8-drop 15k blocker. Counterplay, we just play this card. The rest of the effect is tied to the auto. Permanent, during your opponent's turn, while your leader is yellow, your opponent has 2 or more energy, and you have 2 or more Z energy. Reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 7. Again, we want to keep that Z energy up high for our effects. Auto, when this card is played from your hand, your opponent can't attack with non-leader cards unless they choose one of their active mode cards and switch it to rest mode each time. At the end of the turn, send this card to the owner's warp. Additionally, if your leader is a Z leader or you have a yellow Z battle card in play, your leader gains the following skill for the turn. Permanent, negate all of your opponent's strike skills for the turn. We do have a Z leader in this deck, so we can get this effect. Our Z battle cards are going to go under our chain, so they're not going to stick around for too long. But if we're able to get this effect off, it's incredibly good when we have so many ways to rest battle cards in unisons. We're kind of locking our opponent out of getting their full value. If they do attack with their leader, they don't have to rest anything, but we can block with this card. It's going to get removed at the end of the turn anyway, so it's a free block and just a great card if we're able to establish it. Moving into some of the lower cards within the chain, we've got Majin Buu, Intelligence Manifest. It's a 4-drop, 15k deflect blocker. Auto limit 1 for 1 yellow. If your leader is a Majin Buu or Evil Wizard Babidi, both yellow, your opponent's turn, choose one of your yellow Majin cards with an energy cost of 2 in rest mode. At the end of the battle where this card was used in a combo, play this card from your drop in active mode on top of the chosen card, and then activate main limit 1. If there are 3 or more Majin cards under this card, and you discard 1 or more Majin cards from your hand, this card gains power equal to the total combo power of those cards discarded by the skill for the turn. Additionally, if this card has 25,000 power or more, draw 1 and it gains dual attack for the turn. So we need to discard either 2 5Ks or 1 10K combo Majin card to gain that draw 1 and dual attack. And there's a couple of different cards that have similar effects within this deck, but it is why we've included the Demonic Invasion Majin Buu, because it's a 1-cost 10k Majin. So we can play this card. I believe we've got when a Majin card in your battle area where energy cost of 6 or more is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, activate the skill. If this card's not in play, you get to play it from hand. So if some of our bigger chain cards do get removed, we get to play this card from our hand. But it's just a great way to pitch this card from our hand, get this to 25k, draw a card so it replaces itself, and then we've got a 25k dual attacker. Really strong. Then we've got the 3-cost Majin Buu, Nightmarish Glimpse, unique, limit 1 for 1 yellow. If your leader is a Majin Buu, Evil Wizard Barbary, both yellow, 2 or more energy. When you use one of your yellow Majin Buu or yellow Evil Wizard Barbary skills to discard this card from your hand, we get to play this card from the drop. So again, we've got a lot of ways to discard cards using our leaders and battle cards and things like that. So we just get a great way to get a 15k onto the field for that 1 energy. And activate main, discard 1 or more Majin cards from your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, KO it, and this card gains power equal to the total combo power discarded by that card or by this skill. So again, we don't need to get to a specific number here. We can discard our 5Ks, we can KO a battle card and make this a 20k or a 25k if we need to. Majin Buu Budding Evil, just a 1-drop 4k. If your leader's a Majin Buu or Evil Wizard Barbary, both yellow. When you use one of your yellow Majin Buu or Evil Wizard Barbary skills to discard this card, we get to play it from the drop. So it's just a way to get another body onto the field, another 5k combo. We're going to be discarding our cards for our effects, so we might as well get some more value out of them. And when it's played from your hand, we draw 1 card, so you do need to pay 1 for that draw, but it's another great option there as well. This chain is a little bit out of order, but we do have the 6-drop Majin Buu Talent Manifest. So this is a 6-drop double striking 20k. Auto limit 1 for 1 yellow if your leader's a Majin Buu card. Both yellow, it's your opponent's turn and you choose one of your yellow Majin cards with an energy cost of 4 in rest mode. At the end of the battle where this card was used in a combo, play this card from your drop in active mode on top of the chosen card. And then activate main if there are 4 Majin cards under this card and you discard 1 or more Majin cards from your hand. This card gains power equal to the total combo power of the cards discarded. Additionally, if this card is 30,000 power or more, draw 1 and we play a 15k Majin token. Again, a great way to discard this card to get it to 30k. And we start to see the chain come together a bit more here. We've got the 4-drop that plays over the 2-cost in rest mode, which will be our Z battle card. And then we've got things like the 6-drop that will play over the 4, the 8-drop that will play over the 6, and give us a way to get the 8-drop out. Moving into some of the more generic yellow cards, we've got Frieza's Army Reinforcements, just a great negate to play the token without the energy, since we're going to be using our energy for our chain. Realm of the Gods, Black Kamehameha, just some more disruption and more rest mode on our opponent's turn, and it replaces itself. It's really good. Time Magic is a negate that I think is a bit more relevant now than what we've seen in the past, just with the amount of dual attackers and triple attackers and things like that. We can choose one of our opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and it can't switch to active mode until the start of our next turn. There's also a lot of cards that do restand at the end of turn, at the end of our opponent's turn, I should say, and have blocker and things like that. So just preventing that is always really good, and it's sparking as well. The one final flash, you need to respect this card. It's just too good when our opponent goes all in. And the Mecha Frieza as well, just being able to negate and disrupt our opponent even more alongside the Vegito. Both of these cards are just extremely good. We have the Piccolo and Son Gohan secret rare, just a ridiculous amount of combo when our opponent has cards in rest mode. When you combine that with some of the double strikers and triple strikers that we have, you can really close out games using the secret rare, or we can protect ourselves when our opponent goes all in. I've gone with the Sparking 5 super combo since we do kind of want to be mindful of our life, and we are comboing a lot to keep our battle cards alive and things like that, which will draw attacks away from our lead. And since we are a bit of a drop area focused deck with all of the discard that we have from our effects, it just made sense to go with the Sparking 5 as opposed to the 4 life. Swift Retaliation Cooler, the counter that can just end games, as well as the Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku Universe at Stake. Another new SR from Power Absorbed. It's a 30k deflect. Auto, when this card attacks, choose one. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and switch to rest mode. So this can be Unison, battle card, or energy. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. So depending on what we need, we can rest energy, we can KO cards, and then we've got the activate main for 2 yellow energy. If your leader is a yellow Z leader, or you have a yellow Z battle card in play and your opponent has 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand, and if a yellow extra card is in your battle area, draw 1. And then activate main, if all of your cards in your battle area are in rest mode, switch this card to active mode. Just a great way to get that effect again, and it operates as essentially a dual attacker. Since we're going to be attacking with all of our cards, we can then restand this card. And the Demonic Majin Buu, which we've gone over. Moving into the Z deck, it does get a bit tight with some of the Majin cards that we do need to run. We've got the Z leader, obviously, Z Awaken, 2 Z energy, Z Awaken for 1 yellow and 2 Z energy when your life is at 4 or less. Auto once per turn, when you play a yellow Majin card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons and switch to rest mode. So that's on our turn or our opponent's turn now. And discard 1 yellow card from your hand. When it attacks, draw 2. And auto once per turn, if it's your turn, when you use a skill to increase the power of one of your cards, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, KO it. Choose up to one of your keyword skills of that card you KO'd with the skill, and this card gains that skill for the turn. So if we start discarding our cards for our chain, we can then start KOing things in with barrier in rest mode, and gain things like double strike, critical, or triple strike, or whatever we need to kind of close out the game, which is just a great way to give more advantage to what this deck wants to do. We want to discard cards and get effects for it. 1 Z energy, 1 energy Majin Buu Heart of Evil. It's a 1k with Z stack. So 1 yellow Majin battle card with an energy cost of 1. So when putting this card into play on top of your or on top of a leader from your Z deck, we place up to 1 of the specified cards from your Z deck under this card. A yellow Majin with a battle card of 1, which would be Majin Buu Heart of Good. So this card, permanent, while this card is under a yellow Majin card with a energy cost of 2 or more in your battle area, the card above this gains barrier, And activate main limit 1, if your leader is a Majin Buu, Evil Wizard Barbity, both yellow, and you have 4 or more energy, place up to 1 yellow Majin card from your drop under this card, and play up to 1 Majin Buu Intelligence Manifest from your hand on top of this card, which is the Intelligence Manifest is the 4-drop, so it gives us another way to get that chain going again. And yeah, it's really good to have this permanent to give the above card barrier. It just keeps the chain alive a bit more than what it would without it. The 1-drop that also goes over is Majin Buu Heart of Good, 1 energy, 1 Z energy, with a permanent. While this card is under a yellow Majin card with an energy cost of 2 or more in your battle area, the card above this card can't be KO'd once per turn. So we've got an effect that prevents it that gives it barrier, and an effect that prevents it from being KO'd once per turn. So just a great way to keep this chain alive and allow you to get into your boss monster. Activate main for 1 yellow energy. Choose 1 other yellow Majin card in your battle area and place 1 card from under that card in the drop area, and then place this card under the chosen card. So just another way to get this card underneath our chain also. And then the one that starts it all, we've got Majin Buu 2 hearts. It's a 2 energy, 1 drop, 1 Z energy, 10k with deflect. If we have the energy available when we play this card, we can use the Z energy to play the pan. Z stack 2, yellow Majin battle card with an energy cost of 1. So when putting this card into play or on top of your leader from your Z deck, place up to 2 of the specified cards from your Z deck under this card. So we can play the Majin Buu and then put both of the 1-drops underneath. and then activate main limit 1 if there are 2 or more cards under this card and you discard 1 or more yellow margin cards from your hand. This card gains power equal to the total combo power of the cards discarded, and then if it's 20k, if this card becomes a 20k, we draw 1 and this card gains dual attack for the turn. Again, we see that synergy within the Demonic Invasion Majin Buu, and just being able to get those effects into the drop area. If we have to discard 2 5ks, then we have to. It's not the worst since we do have the Sparking 5 super combo, but it is just a great way to draw a card, replace the 1 if it is 1 card, give this card 20k dual attack, and then it's in rest mode and we can start our chain from there, going from the 2 to the 4, into the 6, into the 8, and things like that. We've got some great defensive cards in the deck, and overall it's an interesting one. I'm keen to see it get played, see how it how long this chain can survive with things like Black Smoke running around, but it's definitely an interesting one. Let me know in the comments what you think of the deck, if there's cards that you would include that you think perhaps are better suited. And as always, if you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you at the next deck idea.